pag-asa sa BTS, ang partido ng mga bayaning tsuper. Bayanan ng lansangan, ikaw ay iingatan, ihahatid ka ng ligtas sa iyong paroroonan, protektado ka sa mga magigiting na tsuper. Umulan umaraw, masasandalan parang pader.
In the canvas of collaboration, each stroke represents a leader's vision.
But it is the collective symphony of colors, a kaleidoscope that breathes life into every masterpiece.
Just as a vibrant artwork showcases the harmonious collaboration of colors,
an organization flourishes when its leadership acts in unity.
Each leader, like a precious artifact,
carries a unique heritage and significance representing a distinct era
and story within the landscape of business and industry.
Like a rare piece of rock, leaders are uniquely shaped by their environments and experiences,
embodying resilience, adaptability, and strength.
Like a meticulously cultivated ornamental trees.
Leaders mirror its elegance and wisdom, gracefully guiding the organization
towards its future while honoring the roots of its foundation.
As these new stewards step into their roles, they become guardians entrusted with preserving the legacy of entrepreneurship and fostering its evolution.
Just as a curator would carefully tend to each artifact, our leaders nurture and protect the values of collaboration, innovation, environmental and ethical business practices.
Together, they can ensure that this cherished collection of entrepreneurial spirit remains not only preserved,
it is also richly rooted, celebrating the past.
Shaping a dynamic and a resilient future for our business landscape.
Together, as leaders and members of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Quezon City,
we will
act,
we will deliver,
and we will make a difference.
Act, deliver, make a difference.
Magandang tanghali po sa inyong lahat. At dito na muli tayo sa Archipreneur Kabahayan at Kabuhayan. So 12 to 1 magsasama-sama po ulit tayo sa isang meaningful discussion. No? This afternoon we will discuss about generation of architects. No? Kung paano na pagpapatuloy ang kanilang practice. But before that, if you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe Vantage Point Media in our YouTube and Facebook channel so that you will be updated on all our episodes and previous episodes na natakal namin dito ni Architect Jean, no? Aking partner. Again, good afternoon everyone. We have two guests here. At bago yun, siyempre, kumustahin natin. Kumusta ba ang week mo, Architect Jean?
Partner, Pasko na.
Pasko na. Yes. And traffic is real.
Traffic is real. Carmageddon is real.
Yes,
diba?
yesterday sabi nila, yung Monday do parang Friday.
Wala namang pinipili yung traffic, partner.
At narinig ko sa news, bawal laro ngayon, pinagbabawal laro ng MMDA mag-sale. Okay ba yun?
I don't know how that will affect our economy, but, di ba?
Ayun nga ang hinihintay ng mga para gastusin yung Christmas bonus, di ba? Saka yung ating 13-month days that sale. Of course, this afternoon, we have two prominent architects, came from two prominent families. Of course, one is ating batchmate sa UST. Pare silang UST, puro kami UST guys dito. Pasensya na muna ibang school. Of course, we love you all guys, but yung isa, papakilala ni Architect Jean, and the other one is Architect, papakilala ko naman. Of course, Architect Jean, go ahead.
Okay, so our special guest, really honored to have him on board today. So Architect Gelo is the CEO of Mañosa and Company. Mañosa and Company is a multi-awarded architectural and design firm in the Philippines, specializing in contemporary environmental and tropical design, interior design, urban planning, and landscaping. Founded by national artist for architecture Bobby Mañosa, Francisco Bobby Mañosa, in 1976, it has in the past 5 decades designed over 1,500 projects in the Philippines and across the globe. And they've also won numerous design awards and established itself as a pioneer in Filipino design and architecture. So from the onset, the firm has pioneered and supported Filipino architecture and design and the innovative use of indigenous materials in a manner best suited to each client's particular needs. Over the years, this design philosophy has evolved to include contemporary regional design and environment-conscious architecture. By staying true to its founder's vision while staying current with the latest trends and developments in global architecture, Mañosa and Company has continued to push the boundaries of contemporary Filipino design. So Mañosa and Company today is a total design firm with its expertise in architecture, interior design, and urban planning, augmented by a network of highly skilled artisans and professionals working in the related fields of engineering, project management, landscape design, and every other aspect of construction. So from design to construction to completion, the firm provides the clients with sound, timely, and practical advice to ensure that high standards are kept. This applies to every project that the firm handles, from the biggest and most complex to the simplest small-scale project. Clients can expect the same attention to detail and the same level of service. Partner, napagod ako.
Wow, kasi galing.
Ang haba. Magagaling yung mga bisita natin. What can I say?
Kasi sabi ko nga, binibiro ko nga si Architect Star.
Oo.
Isang anak ng national artist, isang anak ng past national president, ako naman national bookstore.
Pwede pa rin yun.
Pwede pa rin, pasok pa rin, di ba?
Oo.
Batiin natin si Architect Gelo.
Gelo, welcome, Gelo, to our program.
Thank you for having me in your show.
Yan, okay. So next, pakilala natin, of course, teka. Ang hirap pagka tumatanda, na kailangan magsalamin.
Progressive, Ben. Progressive.
Okay, our next guest, we call her Star, kasi star talaga siya, she has 2 degrees, one in architecture in UST and one in interior design in PSID. Galing ito, 2 lisensya.
Bao talaga.
Ang hirap ito sa pag-renew ng lisensya, Ilang units ang kailangan niya ngayon, Prior to being a licensed architect, she became a national president of the United Architects of the Philippines Graduate Auxiliary. So, bata pa lang, tatrabaho na siya sa UAP. The national president of the United Architects of the Philippines Auxiliary Chapter, and student auxiliary in 2003, and chapter president of the United Architects of the Philippines student auxiliary in UST. Puro presidente ang ginawa nito. So malamang later on maging presidente ito na UAP, Architect Star, kaya sundan din yung lapak ng tatay. Architect and interior designer Star is the principal partner of Florentino and Associates. Yung Florentino niya may power of 3, Power of 3. the only architectural engineering firm with 3 generations of practicing architects as its principal until the passing of the late architect Alberto Florentino last year. So we call him Lolo Pogi. Yan. Galing magsayaw nito. She's also the managing partner of Six Sigma Design, Planning and Construction Management. She's an active member of the United Architects of the Philippines, holding various positions in national level. Star also served as deputy chair of the UAP's Committee on Young Architects. Very young, pero ilan na anak mo, Star? 3. 3. Yan. Young looking talaga. Kasi mabait yung asawa eh. Pinapaganda siya lagi. Assisting the committee in holding various seminars and learning events nationwide in the chapter level and serve in various positions, climbing the ladder starting from chairperson, director, treasurer, secretary, and chapter president in the international scene. No? Architect, interior designer Star is also an active member of EAROPH, no? Holding the esteemed position of convention convener for EAROPH Philippines for 4 consecutive years and now serving as its vice president. No? But you became the president. You're not the president, no? Yeah, you're not the president. Architect Star is as almost people know her, various projects in different complexities under her belt. And of course, she's also an ASEAN architect, no? Not to mention that. Of course, pabatiin natin, Architect Star.
Hello, thank you for inviting us here.
Yan. Of course, architects Marian, Eileen, Florentino, Marudo. Yan. Sa pangalan pa lang talagang pahaba na, saka matindi na. Okay. Curious lang ako because our topic for this afternoon is leaving the legacy of your fathers. No? Of course, ito si Architect Gelo, nung mga estudyante kami, nagigising daw siya sa gabi dahil binubuksan ng tatay niya yung room niya. Pinapakita sa mga kaibigan yung yung bahay nila. It's a very beautiful house. No? Starting with the childhood of you, yung nung sa college tayo, how is it living with a famous father?
How was it living with a famous father? It's both a blessing and a curse, I'd imagine. A blessing because you were being mentored every day of your life. A curse because you were expected to fill in shoes, which were big pair of shoes.
Big shoes.
So there were advantages and disadvantages, I'd say, but of course there are more advantages to it overall. But yeah, the day-to-day of living with a father like my dad, life was always one big lesson. Our conversations would really evolve more around architecture than it was about a father and son. And I guess that was really just his way, because his world was really just the architecture. So he would, I don't know, simple things like if we would travel together and see something I liked, and I'd say, that's really nice, you know, it's beautiful. And he'd say, what's beautiful about it? So I'd have to break it down. Is it the plants? Is it the trellis that you see? Is it the background? Is it the beach? What is it about that scene that you actually like? I said, well, I kind of like the way this couch faces the ocean. I kind of like the color tones on the ceiling, you know. So he would train me how to break down beauty, as opposed to saying, "Oh, it's beautiful," you know? "Oh, I love it." And then, how do you break it down? And by being more conscious about what you found interesting about a certain image or a certain scene or a certain place, it started training you on how to break down beauty, and then eventually start developing your own architectural style path of what you perceive beautiful in general, right? And then from there, it started to evolve like part of my architectural path. I'm talking as a kid, this is like even way before architecture school. He would break it down. Take me to job sites sometimes as a kid, which I've told this story many times. like the Coconut Palace in '79. That was a very memorable one for me. It was, one of those, we were in the last weeks of turning over, before the turnover, so they were there every night. And he would always go there at night because that was the last thing he would do. And then they would start moving the furniture and fixing and all that. So sometimes he would pick me up from school and, wala, obligado, puta, you go. And you'd stay there till like 9 o'clock at night, right? Or 10 o'clock, sometimes 11 o'clock.
I could imagine, it's dark there pa, no?
No, at that time, I mean, we were weeks away from turnover, so the palace looked like fixed and it was really nice, no? So you'd even imagine that was part of our house.
Is there food?
There. I was a child. So we were playing in the area. So I have memories like that of the Coconut Palace, of the Bamboo Mansion in Ternate, Cavite. Several projects where you parang would think that was your house, but it's really not. But it was always fun. It was always fun that way. Christmas time was also very special for us because he was very hands-on with regards to Christmas and then we always called him Peter Pan. He was very, very childish in play. So Christmas time, he would always rearrange all the furniture, which is a practice I do today in my own house. We change everything. We change the carpets. We change the furniture movements. We change paintings. We put in plants. We put in all the Christmas decor. So then the house, the space feels different. And Christmas is coming, so he'd always play Christmas classics on our speaker system. So when you come home, it felt different. And you knew Christmas was coming because the whole house changed the dynamics. The furniture was different. The color schemes were different. And so it was part of the play of strong childhood memories. Up until college, we got to college, and then, like I said, it's both a blessing and a curse at the same time. We did have some professors who loved what he stood for. And we also had some that did not, and really gave me a hard time about it. But it is what it is, right? But at the end of the day, I've never worked anywhere else outside of the firm. So the growth that I've had has really been around the firm's philosophy.
Ecosystem.
That Mañosa ecosystem. So I grew up in that whole system from start to finish. I don't know anything else outside of that system, which is why we continue the same philosophy today. We have our old timers as well in the firm who have been with us for many decades, and these are like the guardians of the gatekeepers, right? And we still practice the same way, but we infuse now new blood into the thinking, and therefore we try to follow and create new dynamics and new designs again. But again, within our ecosystem. We try not to follow trends. We try not to Pinterest images. We try not to dabble into AI. We keep things very, very bespoke and true to our design philosophy.
Okay.
That's in a nutshell.
Perhaps maybe parang dapat ata 2 hours tayo eh.
Oo, kasi national national pride eh.
But maybe we should shift the question as well to Architect Star. Na parang how was it like growing up, and Gelo talked about pressure, if there was one, and perhaps you can tell us, at what point in your life did you know that you would be parang following in your father's or grandfather's footsteps, if ever?
Initially, I didn't know that I'm gonna follow the same footsteps, because if I became what I am when I was younger, I would not be here. I really do not talk in front of people. I'm just a bookish type of person. I read, I study, I do my work. So I'm a very shy grade schooler until high school. And then my father, Architect Dinky, he's the one who introduces me to people. Star, meet this, meet him, meet that, meet me. He always introduced me to people. So I'm just shy, and then just while he introduces me to people. And I didn't realize that these small introductions made me bold. So that's why I became the president in UST, president in the national organization, in Quezon City chapter. So that introduction, even a shy girl like me, I didn't realize you can change your kids as well. Kumbaga parang even they're shy, they can become presidents, they can lead people. It's just how you are being raised by your parents, because it's a big foundation. And then after that, I went to college. And then when I'm about to take the board exam, imagine my grandfather, Architect Eddie, became the board examiner of architecture. And then he's an Lika awardee. My father is a national president. Both of them have 15 patents, building patents in construction. And then here I am going to take the board exam. So the pressure is really, wow, real. And then I went to my father, Architect Dinky, and I asked him, Pa, what if I fail? And then you know what he said to me? It's okay. We have our company. You can still have a work. So, oh, it's okay. So that relieved the pressure in me. I took the exam. I brought my banana and my chocolate drink and then did everything. I finished early, everything with entourage and everything relaxed. There was no pressure. It's okay. It's just another day played. And then I finished it. And in one take, I thank God that He helped me and gave me wisdom during that exam. But more importantly, to my father, for relieving that pressure. Because sometimes, even if you know it, but if you have that pressure in you, minsan na may mental block ka. Yung seatmate ko, hindi niya natapos. His paper was empty, nakakaawa. But she said, anong school ka? Ang galing. Sabi ko, UST. Parehas naman tayo sabi niya. So sabi ko, I think you're good. It doesn't mean that you're not. Nauna lang yung pressure.
Nervyoso.
I'm just better.
Nauna yung nervyos
Nauna yung nervyos. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
I know kasi Sir Dinky. Sir Dinky is a great guy in terms of motivation. Yes. I was actually the president of our chapter when he was the national president. And back then, yung magte-text ka piso, may bayad eh. And he will be texting everyone all over the Philippines. He spend a lot of money motivating people. I'm sure if he motivates me as a president, more than siyempre, motivate niya yung daughter niya and those his family. And now, nakikita ko how he motivates his grandson. Anak niya ni Carlo, Yeah. May sariling YouTube account. So, promote mo yung YouTube ng anak mo.
Watch Dinky and Seth show.
Yeah. So, yun. So, that's it. Ikaw ba, Gelo, meron ka rin ganong the experience of Star, yung son mo ay involving nakano niya yung father mo?
My kids are still small. My son is 13, my daughter is 16.
But they do have the same experience just like you na like Star na naka nila yung grandfather nila
they were able to experience their grandfather as well. From time to time, I also bring my daughter to job sites every now and then. She has expressed
interest
to take interest in architecture. I don't know. Keeping my fingers crossed. But she's very. She loves doing art. Like her room is full of painting. She loves to paint. She loves to draw. She does a lot of. She's very right-brained.
Yeah, good.
My son naman wants to be a YouTube star. That's it.
So parehas kayo.
We'll see. I don't know, man. We'll see.
Yeah, same experience sa akin when I
yung daughter ko, no, dinala ko sa job site, madumi. Umayaw na. Gusto nag-scientist na siya. So sana maging ganun yung daughter mo. Because iba naman yung ating gusto talaga in life, no.
I grew up in the side.
You grew up in the side, no? Depende talaga, no. Siguro malinis yung side mo. That time kasi pagpukan ng trabaho, siguro kasi si Gelo when he was bought by his father sa Bamboo Palace, siyempre palasyo yun eh. 'Di ba? You'll be amazed talaga and you'll be encouraged to take up architecture. And you have a question?
I guess kasi like I have a son who just finished architecture, no. Parang at what point did you parang when you interact with your son or your daughter, parang is there like a preference if ever, or is there like a tact for you or for both of you that parang I'm sure you guys would want to see them na maging arkitekto sila, di ba? But is there like an agreement? Is there like a strategy between husband and wife, between yourself and?
Not really. For me, honestly, they can be whatever they want to be. It doesn't matter. But really, I try not to put the same pressures that I have. Only because you take away the fun when you put the pressure in, right?
So were you saying that there was pressure, when you were growing up, when your dad would take you to sites and
Yeah, because at one point when I was in high school, I didn't want to take up architecture. For a while it was all archi, and then I think it was second year high school. I decided I want to go into agriculture. And so I told my dad at the time, I think I want to be a farmer. And then he looks at me, you want to be a farmer? Like with the biggest question mark, and then he's like, no, you're not going to be a farmer, you'll be an architect. And I was like, oh, okay.
So I also know Dino, di ba? Parang how was that between like the two of you? Was there like ikaw na maging arkitekto, di ba? Parang
no naman, because Dino never really was a right brainer. He was more a left brainer.
I see.
It was Bambi and I who were really more inclined to the arts.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was no pressure.
Star?
For me, parang it doesn't matter kung mag-archi kami or not. But it was me, when he said, Star, would you like to join? I'll go to the site. Yes. I'm always excited to see yung buhos, yung mga trucks. So, I want to go. And then my mom would say, anong maganda doon? Why do you want to go there? So, it was me. He would just invite me, but he would not really force me. And then, before I took up the board exam, I used to work during summers in the office. And then I realized after I graduated, I want to experience how is it to be an employee. Because of course in our office, I'm still the daughter of the boss. So I worked outside of the company, and then our project was St. Luke's BGC. And then I felt how it's like to be an employee, how the employees think, how is it with them when you are planning. So, and then after that, I told my boss, sir, I need to go back to our office because my board exam may not be a hospital. So I'm just here for the experience, and he knows that. So I just stayed for 6 months and then came back to our office because in our office, I did plan for different projects, and it will be very useful in our board exam. If I work in a big company, I will just be sticking on one area kasi masyadong malaki yung company eh. So with this one, with a lot of experience I had in our office, so it's easier for me. And I think our small company, I'm just saying small, but but I think it's big in contribution because my lolo and my dad, what they did to the community, to the country, having these 15 patents. Kaya nung college ako, nalilito ako, they're using conventional hollow blocks. We're not using that in the office. So during that time, it was something na what I know, like what you have, your ecosystem in your office, and then what I know, the non-conventional way of building your walls, building your roof. So it's something that now I know both. Pero syempre, you're using your building system.
Interesting.
Interesting yun. Well, that's of course may science behind that.
Yeah.
In terms of the construction, that's why bukod doon you also love interior designing na, di ba?
Yes.
Kasi goes to the details. Sabi nga kanina ni Gelo is breaking the details, no. The beauty is in the details, no. You break down with your dad when you are in the job site, no. Well, you told us na you never went out on the ecosystem of your dad's firm, no.
Yeah.
But si Star medyo tinry siya sa iba. So paano yun? Of course, you're big firm, so walang problema. Pero okay lang ba yun na hindi mo siya na tingin mo na yung gano'n na doon ka lang umikot? You'll never. Of course, you experience architecture every day in another way.
The nice thing about Dad's firm at the time is we were really pioneering and breaking through a lot of new stuff, right? I guess similar to what Star has, where they were doing patents. We were actually playing with small, medium enterprises, right? So when you go to let's say Shoemart now, you go to the Balikbayan stores and you see all the coconut inlay picture frames and you see all the the guinea rice husks and whatnot. It's common materials today, but back then these were groundbreaking materials, right? These were guys who were small cottage industries. They knew Dad was a champion for local indigenous materials. So they would come and show him prototypes, things that they would do in their garage, things that they would do in their own backyard. And then the firm would say, okay, that's great, but can you make it a circle? Can you make it a square? So we can use it for a chair handrail. We can use it can you make it a paneling? So we can use it for a backboard or a seating treatment. And so he would challenge a lot of these small, medium enterprises to push their boundaries, right? And I guess in that sense, it was really, our library was a fantastic library of local materials. Today, it's common norm. I mean, you go to Fame Show, you see a dime a dozen. But we're talking in the late 80s, early 90s. It was really groundbreaking materials, right? And so that was the play point of the firm. Plus the diversity of the projects that they had at the time. They were doing hospitals, they were doing buildings, they were doing residentials, ecclesiastical projects, churches. So there was enough variety to really get yourself. It's not like we're doing, let's say car showrooms. That's all we do, car showrooms. It wasn't that kind of firm. It was very diverse in nature. So I never felt like I lacked. And many of the guys, I remember there were guys in the firm sometimes who would leave and work for other companies, and then within 4 or 5 months they were back again. And so when Dad would ask them, what's going on, sir, kasi dun sa firm na yan, puro banyo lang ginagawa ko eh. Yung isa, puro cabinet eh. Yung isa, puro. True. There was no diversity. Right? Which is still the same, I guess the same reason why we get a lot of students that want to work with us and all that, because the diversity of projects, it can be an apartment, it can be the house of a kennel compound, for dogs. It can be a building, it can be a resort. So there's diversity. There's enough diversity that you can get your feet wet and you can really grow in terms of architecture.
Yeah, of course
What Star was mentioning, when I worked for my dad, I started bottom. I was the junior draftsman, and we were drafting manually at the time. Which I was getting paid like $3,500 a month, and I was spending more than that a weekend with a
The boys.
With the boys and the girlfriend and all that.
Yeah.
So I was talagang deficit all the way. But I was really there to learn. I wasn't really there to, and of course, as a son of the owner,
Yeah.
you were gonna get the lousiest pay. Like the
Yeah.
lousiest pay, that was what you got.
Yeah.
But you
Last
were
two.
always expected to
To do your
perform.
job.
Libre tira ka naman daw sa
Libre naman yung bahay mo. Libre naman.
Lahat libre naman daw eh.
Oo.
Well, of course, your father is when you say Filipino architecture, it's synonymous with your father, di ba? Now, sabi mo, pioneer, no? Si Starden is may mga patents naman si Sir Dinky, si Lolo Pogi, di ba? Do you think moving forward now, the new generations, no, Gelo and Star, what would be the next move or moving forward of your company? Is we still follow, but of course you'll be following the same principle. But what are the new innovations that you will be incorporating now in your firms? Star?
Okay. Si Papa kasi, marami siyang personalities na magaganda.
Mhm.
So first, what I want to adopt is for him being always nasa tama. So it's not up to him kung, oh, son-in-law kita, anak ko to, siya yung mali, ang kakampihan ko yung anak ko. Hindi siya ganun. Whether it's in the organization, in family, in business, if you are wrong, you are wrong. So I want to adapt that. Moving on with my family, I also adopt that kind of attitude. That's why he's always a consultant in UAP, in EAROPH, in drafting the bylaws and the constitution, in any organization, in every business, he's a consultant. And with that, I want to apply that in my values, in my children's values. So we will, because I think it's proper. Next is about our business. So in our office, we have these patents. And in our country, ayaw natin ang naiiwan tayo, that we are left behind. And these innovations that they did, we wanted to continue that and with add-ons. Since I am an interior designer, before we were just focused on the structure. There are some architects that they just do the design, but they don't know how to build it. They don't know kung ano yung nasa loob. What structure, what columns, what beams. And from that, I don't know about the students now, pero for me, it's important that when you design, you know what's in it. Hindi nagluto ka ng sinigang, pero sasabihin mo sa ibang tao, hulaan mo kung anong ilang kamatis yan. Parang gano'n. So for me, it's weird that you don't know what's in it. So I wanted to keep it that way because now I've met few architects na ganon. They just design but they don't really know what's in it. So with that kind of mindset, I want to follow with that, and with the same as my love in interior design, we continue the project. Usually kasi we just do the design and the architectural design and the structure, and then we get somebody to do the finishing, or sometimes we do the finishing kung walang interior designer. But now, one whole package. And then with his character as a father, I want to be like him. Kasi sa family, he's very, he's always the joker in the company. Makulit siya eh. He's serious when it comes to work, when it comes to dealing with the law, ganyan. But when he's at home, my son, Seth, calls him, he's in the rainbow zone. Katawag sa kanya yun kasi joker si Papa.
Yeah.
He's always very sweet to us. Tatlo kaming girls. So, my older sister is in New Zealand. He's a systems analyst. The bunso is a captain in Philippine Airlines. So, tatlo kaming girls, very close to him. So, with that, lahat ng values niya, wala akong nakikitang hindi okay ituloy. So, I want to pay it forward to my family, to my friends. And I think the big influence why Architect Dinky is like this, it's because he's a man of God.
Yeah.
He's a very dedicated
Every week na
director.
tinetext ako yung prayer for the saka yung
He's a very dedicated man of God. So he's a director of the Lord's flock.
Yeah. And before we give it to Gelo to answer yung what's the new innovation in your firm, bumabati yung dad mo, no? Si Architect Dinky Florentino. Hi, Sir Dinky. Thank you for watching. Yeah, Gelo.
Yeah, for us naman, well, new innovations. I guess first is the dynamic of how the firm works. During my dad's time, kasi it was very singularity focused. In other words, the buck stopped with him, right? And I think that's both a good thing and a bad thing. Good because you're really getting the hand of the architect all the way through. Bad because if you didn't feel like choosing the color of the paint that you're going to use, that just stayed on for like days and days without any decision happening. The way I run the office now is a little different. We're more collaborative. So in the office, we do have a design board that reviews all the projects, and it's made up of myself, some of the old timers, some of the young guns, and middle management. And sometimes we invite the junior architects as well to sit in. And that pretty becomes a more collaborative way of dealing with projects and dealing with designs. Decisions are made as a group rather than as one individual. And so I think what that does is it adds new ideas, fresh blood, and new ways of thinking, which tend to be monotonous sometimes when you're just on a singularity kind of firm. But with regards to the actual design philosophy, my father's design philosophy, again, was very deeply rooted in culture, in our Philippine culture and traditions. He was very centric on the bahay kubo and its fundamentals, and believed in that cultural aspect. Where my training comes in is when I did my postgrad degree, it was really more on climate conscious architecture, which everyone today calls green architecture. And what that did was it showed me the science behind the thinking. And so when I started getting the science behind the thinking and smashing it with the cultural identity of what the bahay kubo's fundamentals are, it made sense for hot, humid climates like ours. So before, it was more about the cuento of the cultural aspect of it. But when you get the fundamentals and then you look at the science behind it, it actually really makes a lot of sense. And that part is, I think, what I brought into the firm, is the science behind the thinking. So now what we did was we merged both the cultural aspect and the background behind why heat gain is important, in direct solar radiation, how that affects your glazing, how that affects your thermal comfort, so on and so forth. And that starts making sense. And we bring that to the table as part of the design innovations that we do. But over and above that, the design details which tend to make a Mañosa design, we also innovate on those details. Because I don't want our houses looking like the way we were designing them back in the 90s. And it definitely has to evolve. So we have been doing a lot of groundbreaking work, playing with new concepts, with thermal mass and lightweight construction.
But still maintaining the Mañosa brand with new innovation.
Still maintaining the same fundamentals, but using new materials.
New materials.
Even new local indigenous materials. It's amazing the stuff we have now.
Yeah.
I mean, today we have a whole buffet of stuff to choose from, right?
Yeah.
And used in different ways. During Dad's time, he was begging them to experiment, to do things. So it's a completely different.
With the China growing economy nowadays, no, they have a lot of innovative products also in terms of green. Does your firm still manage to keep in touch with the small and medium enterprises that you worked before?
Of course. When we look at projects, we always try to look at what is local first, and then if what is local cannot suffice a project, then we start looking what is regional, and then after that, if we can't reach that, then we start looking at what is global. So before I buy marble from Italy, I'll look at marble from China. And before buying marble from China, I'll look at buying marble from the Philippines. And that pretty much is the thought process of how we specify materials.
Okay. Filipino first.
Of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
very good.
Local first.
Kasi dun yung brand talaga ng Mañosa eh.
No, and not only that, you promote local industry.
Yeah.
You support.
Even if it's more expensive?
Even if it's more expensive, it depends on the budget, the client, the project.
Yeah.
But we always try to do local first and promote local. Once that doesn't fit the standard of what the project is, then we go regional. Then from regional we go global.
How about you, Slar? You have in your office, you have also the same system that to buy local first, to consider local product first.
Well, our building system uses the ready materials in the market.
Okay.
So hindi sa amin parang we're not having
Pasok
a hard
na kagad
time.
yun.
Yeah, we're not having a hard time getting it because our building system is using the same steel. It's just a different methodology in how it's done.
Yeah, you're talking about patents. So just give an example, some of the patents of what you're using now.
Okay. We have this, di ba yung wall natin, like CHB, we have that. It's 4 inches and then you put a cladding 1 inch on the other side. So you have 6 inches, 0.15 wasted space already. So we are doing a 125 dormitory. So, maliit na yung building niya and then gusto niya madaming units to gain more money, of course. But if you have those, nauubos agad yung space mo. So, we used our thin shell wall concrete. So, it's only 3 inches thick. So, look at the space that you gained in the entire floor already.
Dagdag na 1 unit or 2 units.
Yes. Yeah. And it's not like a CHB na pag binasag mo siya, sira siya. You can actually cut the edges if you would like to transfer it. So it's cast in place. Okay. At the same time, the strength is also pwedeng siyang load bearing. So some of our walls, sasabihin ng client, ay sa feng shui ko, ayoko nang merong column here or merong beam here. Okay, fine. No column. Sometimes these columns, di ba sa edge, hindi mo malagay yung bed because of these columns. So pag sinabi niya yun, request niya na walang naka-protrude na columns, then we do it. The walls become load-bearing. The
shear wall lahat siya.
Not really shear wall, but similar, yes sir. Parang ganun siya. And then also, may mga projects kami that we do resorts. And hindi pwede yung GI roofing sa resorts.
Hindi pwede yung bakal na kagad
kasi magra-rust siya because of the wind. So, gagawin namin, thin shell concrete. So, hanggang ngayon, for more than 30-40 years na yung mga projects ni Papa doon, still, wala pang tumatawag sa amin for change of roof. Pag tinatawagan yung client, still okay because it's concrete. Kahit anong bagyo, nandyan pa rin siya. And also, we had this project for Habitat for Humanity. Yung naano sila ng bagyo. So, the entire community, it was funded by the French government. Lahat ng housing nila, naka-concrete roofing na. Para hindi na babalikan, replace again for another roof. So, yeah. That's one of our system, the wall and the roof.
Okay. There's 15, no? Dalawa lang.
Mukhang may part 2 ito, ba?
Dalawa lang yun. May 13 pa.
Anyway, it's talking about innovations, and I want to explore clashes, disagreements between your dad, between your grandfather, if ever. I mean, like when you were growing up, parang how were clashes or how were disagreements resolved? Alam naman natin, syempre, pag matanda, sige, pagbigyan mo na, di ba? Parang, I want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, ika nga, na parang, how do you resolve these disagreements, di ba?
In my house?
Yeah, I mean, like when you worked with your dad, if ever.
There was no such thing as a disagreement.
Okay.
you disagreed, it was his way or no way. That was it.
Okay.
You could not, like the way sometimes my kids argue with me now. There's no way I could have done that with my dad. If I argued with him, you're wrong. Whether tama ka or mali ka pa rin.
Okay. And how do you do that? How do you apply that? I mean, as far as your regime is concerned, or your workplace.
No, well, in my workplace, like I said, we're more
Collaborative, yeah.
collaborative in the way we work. So, like even there, we have certain rules, like our design board. If let's say for some reason I don't show up in that meeting and the decision's made, and I don't agree with that decision still goes because the majority already decided on that. I can't overturn a decision made by the
team.
By the team.
So parang dati martial law, ngayon democracy.
Democracy.
Parang gano'n, no?
Collaborative na eh.
Oo.
Diba,
Yeah.
sabi nga ni Gelo kanina, of course, lumaki tayo sa martial law.
Oo.
So, singularity.
Tama.
Ngayon, democratic na, collaborative na.
How about you, Star?
There were no clashes sa family namin. So it was always, what's your idea, what's your suggestion, and then we discuss about it. Pero lahat kami nagbibigay ng inputs. Pero merong main head. Like for example,
Decision maker.
the decision maker. Example, when it's about interior, they give suggestions, but I have the last say. If it's about the structure, I have a suggestion and ideas. They listen to it, but they are the decision maker, yung last one. Parang merong ganun sa amin, na silent, but they still listen. It's not always sila ang may last say. They don't listen to my suggestion. Or me naman, even I'm the one deciding on the interiors. I won't listen to them. So it always has been like that, na they listen. Kilala niyo naman si Papa.
Yes,
you know
yes,
Papa's attitude and character. He always listens to suggestions.
And actually, you have the same traits yung fathers niyo. No? Siguro yung mga father natin ganun talaga. No? My father's a civil engineer, but more on architecture ang style niya. Ikaw, father mo
was an architect, but he did not take the board. But I think I could really relate to.
Yeah, relate tayo sa topic na to. Yung childlike behavior nila, no? When it comes, siguro ganun talaga pagka-artist ka, no? Hindi nawawala yung pag nasa art ka, hindi nawawala yung pagka-childlike mo. And now you have kids, di ba? You have kids. And how do you plan to cascade to them the generations of learnings that you've... So, ikaw, simula sa grandfather, sa dad mo, ikaw naman, Sir Gelo, sa father mo. How do you plan to give it to later on to your kids? Of course, what is bringing them to job site? Ano yung tingin yung... Of course, si Gelo na simula, simula siya sa tinasama siya ng tatay niya, batang-bata pa. Do you plan to continue that kind of subtle training sa kanila? Of course, convincing later on.
Subliminal. Well, like I said, to me, whatever my kids want to do, I'm always supportive. As a father, as a parent, you just want to make sure that they're happy with their life.
But of course, you'll be more happier pagka nag-architecture sila, di ba? At lahat tayo ganyan di ba?
I mean, my lesson I always tell them is, it doesn't matter what you do, just make sure you be good at it. You go 100% on it, right? Don't fall short. But I guess my world in architecture, they cannot get away from it because it's around them all the time, right? So just like the way I could not get away from it because it was my father's world. But I don't put like 150% of my life into my job. I believe that there has to be a work-life balance. That's very important. So I really make time out to take them out on trips.
So during dinners, hindi niyo pinag-usapan ng architecture?
No. We don't do that. Although with my dad's time, it was 100% 200% all architecture. My conversations with my father was architecture. We didn't have father-son now, I'll give you some words of wisdom. Words of wisdom was always related to work. That was his world. His world was really 200% always there. Me, on the other hand, I believe there has to be a work-life balance, not just in my family, but with my employees as well. It's important that there's that balance, right? So as much as possible, you do what you can as a parent, and you hope that one of them will eventually take the trade. If they don't, then
wala ba yung nga lang iniiwanan mo ng plano sa naglalagay ka ng mga floor plan to sa kwarto, gano'n?
But there are some things, like for example, my son right now, 13 years old, he's going from being a child to becoming a teenager, more and more. So now his room is a child's room. So he wanted now to change his room. So come January, I told him, okay, we'll renovate your room. So now I told him, okay, now you tell me what are the inputs that you want to do. So now he's giving me inputs, and I'm telling him, search the
So
internet,
starting na.
what you like, what you don't like, and then let's work on your room together. So that's kind of my way of.
So that's your subliminal persuasion.
That's my subliminal persuasion.
Ganyan din ang ginawa ko sa daughter ko. Kaya medyo gusto na ngayon. Yung pangatlo. Kasi nawala sa pangalawa, I have 4 daughters kasi. Yung una, nabigo. Pangatlo, saka pang-apat, medyo okay na. Nasusunod ko na yung style na Sir Dicky. How you are.
Kasi it's always exciting when you think about something, and then you draw it up and then you see it built.
Yes.
There's a quality to it that all architects feel na trinoy ko yan, nakita ko na nagawa.
Ikaw ba star ganun din, you'll be happy with one of your... ilan ba? Tatlo, di ba? 3 boys. 3 boys. So one of your boys will become an architect?
We will be, but they are not forced. Yung mga pagdala ngayon sa mga depots, it's not because may purpose ako. Wala akong choice eh. Pag sundo ko, I need to buy stuff. So, natatambay sila doon sa mga pag-shopping ko ng mga items, and they're just there. And recently, sinabi ni Gelo about renovation. Kakatapos lang namin mag-renovate ng room nila. So, I told them, kasi there's 3, and then we have a limited space ngayon. So, sabi ko, what are we gonna do? They're growing up. Nung 3 kids talaga, kasya pa sila. Now, he's 13, 12, and 8. So, sabi ko, what do you want to do? So, they designed what they want, and then now they have a loft. So, they're very excited about their loft, and then they have their own cubicles under. So, sila din namili ng color, ng paint, saan yung pwesto nila, and everything else. So,
that's how you let them go inside the architecture world. The architect Jean, siguro it's about time you ask our question. Every week we ask this question to our guests.
So every week we ask a special question to our guests and it's also always related to entrepreneurship. In our case, as archipreneurs, di ba? So ang question ko is, may pera ba sa fulfilling your father's legacy?
May pera?
May pera. I mean, is there money? Are you happy with the income, for continuing your father's legacy, for choosing to continue on with your father's legacy?
You mean in architecture?
Well, I mean in general. I mean, Well, I mean, this is particularly reference to your, di ba?
There's no money in architecture.
Baka ma-discourage yung mga ibang entrepreneurs natin.
If you have the architecture, no. You'll be richer.
Yan baka kala nyo marami kami pera.
Teka, take two.
Well, how do I answer that? I guess there is money in architecture if you're looking for money. There is a commercial side of architecture where you can actually make some substantial amount of money. The way we practice, we don't make money. Simply because it's a very passionate practice. It's a practice of passion. So sometimes we are running way beyond the 9 hours that we're supposed to do in a project, but we do it because we're simply not happy with the output. and we have to rehash it and redo it again. We've done like, and this is, I'm not exaggerating, we've done one project where we rehashed it close to 18 times, 18 times. This is a complete redesign, because we were just arguing about the way the project was to be designed internally. This had nothing to do with the client. This was just internally. But we came up with 18 rehashes. We ran the project beyond the timeline, and we were losing money. And at that point, I was already telling my team, guys, this is already ridiculous. We have to finalize and already agree on a design plan. But that's what I have in my firm. I've got passionate artists who are not afraid to challenge the status quo, and that's a good thing and a bad thing, because you end up running stupid timelines, and you're not even happy, and it's all internal. It's not even. I'm sure any one of those 18 schemes, if you showed it to the client, would have been perfectly fine, but it had to work well internally. So, do we make money? Yeah, some projects we make money, some projects we lose money as well. But I mean, overall, at the end of the day, we make money.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
But we don't make saksakan like amounts, right? We pretty much practice to survive. But when it comes to the prestige and the types of projects we turn over, that's where we are rich in. We are rich in the fulfillment of the types of projects that we finish. And these are legacy projects. These are projects which we are proud of and our clients are proud of for generations, right? And I guess that's where I can say we're rich. So, kumbaga, lifestyles of rich and famous. Famous kami, hindi kami rich. that's kind of how our practice has been for the past so many decades.
Okay. Sorry?
For me, I would say just enough. Yan. Yung pagiging following that. Enough lang. Enough for you to, yes, to survive. Kasi ang ng office namin, it's architecture, it's not just for the rich. So we really have clients, it's their first house. So really, you just give them a fee that is recommended, and you cannot really ask for like a big fee and then malaki yung profit na babalik sa inyo. So it's just enough to sustain the office, because one of the main objectives of our office is to help our community. So it's not na parang make money. Yeah, hindi siya make money. Meron kaming ibang business. That's correct. We have other businesses that makes money. Yeah, but this one, it's more on helping the community, giving back. So kahit na yung clients namin, it ranges from low average to the rich clients. Ganun yung range ng clients namin. From starters to yung mga tipong pang 16th building na niya, meron kaming ganong clients. And we also have those that it's the newlywed couples with no budget yet. So.
Okay. Partner, medyo maingat yung sagot ng mga
pero ito na lang siguro, no, as their last statement, partner.
Sure.
Parang boy abundang dating nito. Kunyari, kaharap mo yung father mo. What will you say to him? Gelo. Kunyari, kaharap mo yung father mo. Kunyari, your father is in front of you. What will you say to him?
You were right. Yeah.
And some advice siguro to other architects na merong
or father and son situations where the father is an architect or the mother is an architect, and they'd like their kids to continue on.
Well, for me, I guess a message I can really say is you really have to follow your passion. If you're not passionate about what you do, it's work, right? And therefore, when we do our practice in architecture, there has to be passion. There has to be soul in the architecture. When you remove the soul in the building, all of a sudden you can see right away it's so sanitary, it's so static. And that becomes the business in architecture. When you see buildings that are built for the sake of the the bottom line figure, you can tell right away when there's no passion or no soul in the building. So, like I always tell my kids, whether you take up architecture, whether you become a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, whatever it is, just you better have passion in what it is that you're doing, because it will be seen, it will follow through. The reason why people come to us really is because they believe in the architecture that we do, the Philippine philosophy, the Philippine design philosophy. And that's why our clients really come to us. I don't have clients that come to me and say, Architect Mañosa, can you design me a Japanese house, or a pagoda, or a French chateau. They don't, because they know what we stand for, and therefore they believe in what we believe in. So they come to us because of that.
Yeah.
And that's why every project has to have a soul, right?
That's deep.
Malalim.
Yeah.
Busog na naman ako, partner.
How about you, Star? Pagkaharap mo si Sir Dicky, nandiyan ngayon sa harap mo ngayon. What will you say to him? Or you si Lolo Pogi?
To Papa, nandyan ba? Okay. Papa, I'm very grateful for you. Iyakin kasi ako. Yeah, I will not be who I am today without you. For the advices and what I've learned, what I have achieved. Later ko na lang i-message. But everything, thank you, and cheers to more travels with you.
Wow. Okay. No, dahil your father also sa
talagang mabubusog talaga tayo.
Yes. Parang treat to the fathers ngayon.
Father's Day ba ngayon?
Father's Day. Bagong Father's Day.
Yes. Yeah. But we're all grateful.
Yeah.
I think, and that's the message na nakuha natin today. Yeah. And iba-ibang style.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, the passion, the soul, and it's how you run things that is convenient and up to the times. That's more important. Partner Alfred?
Yeah, thank you, Partner Gene. I always say to my students and to my staff, love architecture every day. Because if you love architecture every day, soon it will love you back give you financial freedom, no? And because dahil si Star nagpasalamat sa dad niya, I would like also to thank my dad, pero she's not anymore here in earth, na nasa heaven na siya, but I would like to thank his teaching to me, no, sa kapatid ko, and to all, no. And with that, thank you very much, and thank you very much for this episode. It's really touching to have our fathers, no. Kaya kayo, kung may mga tatay kayo ngayon pa nandiyan pa sa inyo, buhay pa, please love them and tell them that you love them. And again, this is Architect Alfred Carandang, your Archipreneur. We are live every week, every Tuesday. See you next week. Thank you very much, po.
pag-asa sa BTS, ang partido ng mga bayaning tsupe. Bayanan ng lansangan, ikaw ay iingatan, ihahatid ka ng ligtas sa iyong paroroonan. Protektado ka sa mga magigiting na tsuper, umulan umaraw masasandalan parang pader.
In the advent of technology and information came a different threat: identity theft, other cybercrimes, and fraudulent activities.
If information of individuals, whether personal or sensitive personal information, are not protected properly, this information may be used by cyber criminals to create and commit several activities that will compromise their financial life and reputational life. As regards organizations and companies, if these rights are violated, of course, there will be a threat to the business. Imagine if your system is hacked. If information gathered by the organization is compromised, there will be loss of trust coming from your customers. There is a risk that you will lose those important customers that you have.
ADM and Partners, Data Privacy and Consulting Incorporated, saw this need in 2017. This is also in compliance with RA 10173 or the Data Privacy Act of 2012.
Data privacy, it is the right to be let alone and the freedom from intrusion and any interference. It's important because one, it's a fundamental human right that all organizations must respect because each individual has the right to control and determine what type of data will be processed from him. And secondly, in case of violation, organizations may face penalties of both imprisonment and fine. And they can also face liability of civil payment as well as damages, and to the extent that they may be banned by the National Privacy Commission from processing, collecting, and using personal data.
With safety and security in mind, ADM and Partners delivers a holistic approach on data privacy compliance. They make sure all bases are covered from end to end.
We started with zero knowledge about data privacy. When we partner with them, they introduced to us all the laws, how to comply with it, and they trained all our employees from the securing our documents, what to give or not to give to people when they ask for it. It is a continuous development for our company, knowing that data privacy is a very new law. ADM is always there for us and they are able to assist us in all our inquiries.
Data privacy is important and necessary in this day and age.
So, part of this?
Thus, ADM also conducts seminars and trainings regularly.
So, just like service contracting.
Most of my exposure to the Data Privacy Act is derived from reading materials pertaining to such. Now, with this training, it helped me broaden and further my knowledge on the sensitiveness of this data privacy law because it gave me more idea on the types of data that needs to be protected, and in the same manner protect my company from any possible suit, from any violations that I may encounter as I manage my business.
So encrypted. So
I feel it's deemed important that I'll be certified as a legit business person to handle the sensitive information that we gather from our data subject, because we have a roster of reputable community of associations to keep the integrity of the member base. We should know the parameters of the privacy of this information they disclose to us.
Led by attorney Arnel Mateo, ADM and Partners is composed of data protections specialists, data privacy lawyers, IT practitioners, and consultants who are recognized by the industry and several organizations to be outstanding in this field of law.
It is the advocacy of ADM to help both individuals and organizations understand the data privacy rules, and as well as to help them understand that data privacy can be complied with in a simple manner. It doesn't have to be technical. With our help, we can ensure that the organizations are assisted and guided towards being a privacy compliant organization.
If you want to deal with bigger clients, you need to be compliant with data privacy, and ADM is the best company to help you with that.
The right to be able to access.
Protect yourselves and your clients. Build a reputable company with proper data protection together with ADM and Partners, Data Privacy and Consulting Incorporated.